Howdy there. So last night, I watched I Love You, Phillip Morris. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was okay. I think I'll give it a 7. It seemed like a big passion project. A lot of love went into the movie. So I think that comes across. You can tell that a lot of people cared about telling this story, and they wanted to do it right, and they did it well. It's about this character here, played by Jim Carrey. He's a liar. A con man, embezzler. He is a liar. He makes his money by deceit. He makes his living. He makes his life by deceit. He doesn't know how to be himself, so he creates characters and just bees whatever you think you want him to be. It's a psychological profile of a pathological liar. And it's about love. It's really about love. He goes to prison a lot. It's basically about his life. We see him as a youngster. We see him, kind of grow up. We see him throughout his marriages. We see him throughout his life. So it's really kind of a biopic. But let's see. So he goes to prison. He steals from a lot of people. Falls in love. And then basically his life becomes about his partner. To support his partner, to protect his partner. Again, but it focuses on the Jim Carrey character. It's a true story. Again, it's a film, so I imagine it's dramatized in some parts, but it is based on actual, fact, real people. But it's difficult because the story is about a liar. So it's tough to know what's accurate because the man breaks out of prison a lot. I mean, a lot. And can someone do that? Can someone break out of prisons with that much ease? You don't hear about it that much, but maybe it does happen. Especially, this takes place mostly, well, a lot of the prison breaks happen in the 2000s. But, really, the film starts in the 70s, I think. What is true and what's not, I don't know. But it is, it purports to be a true story. Let's see here. Stars Jim Carrey, Ewan McGregor. They are the main couple. Let's see, who else is in there? Leslie Mann. That's really about it in terms of names. There are more familiar faces, but really that's it for names. And even Leslie Mann isn't on the box, I don't think. Based on a book, Steve McVicker wrote the book. Written and directed by John Requa and Glenn. Wow, that's an Requa and Akara. I believe they wrote Bad Santa. This is their first directorial film. This is a directorial debut. They've actually had a second film since that I can't remember what it is, but it was also independent. Not as polarizing as this film, but it was good. I think I've even seen it, and I can't remember what it is for the life of me. Maybe it was a documentary. But this is their first directorial debut, or, their first directorial effort. again, I believe they wrote Bad Santa. They might have done something else, and they've done something else since. I wanted to see this in the theater, but I didn't, and so I finally got around to renting it. It is, very polarizing. A lot of people aren't going to like it simply because it will make them uncomfortable. Again, this is a movie about a bad person. He does wrong to a lot of people. He hurts a lot of people. But of course, he doesn't hurt anyone more than himself. It also is really a gay film. It's about gay men. So if you're made uneasy by that, you're probably not going to see this film. You're not going to watch the film. I mean, I have to give kudos to Jim Carrey and Ewan McGregor, neither of whom are gay, I believe. They go all, out. I totally bought their relationship. And you will see Jim Carrey, in the act of gay sex. So I mean, it's and they don't really pull any punches. So if you're made uncomfortable by homosexuality, well, then you're not going to like it. But I think it is very forward-thinking. And I think it's kind of important in that regard, because it is a love story between two gay men. And you don't get to see that too often. And that's probably why it didn't get the release it did. Again, it stars Jim Carrey and Ewan McGregor, who you like to think are two of our biggest actors. Well, Jim Carrey used to be like the biggest talent on the planet. I mean, he got like $20 million a movie. He's not so much anymore, but to someone my age, in their early 30s, Jim Carrey means something to you. He was huge for a while. So it's good to see him picking very interesting parts. And this is a very complex role. And I feel that he delivers. He's got that in him. So great acting all around, really. Tremendous acting. Really brave performances. And well acted, and it seemed very real. Again, I think Jim Carrey wanted this to be like, an Oscar shot, something. You can tell that there is a lot of passion in this film. Very funny. I laughed a lot. It's got this quirky sense of humor. Some very dark things, very bad things happen. But it never loses that quirkiness. It's just very quirky. And funny. Even, again, bad things happen, and there is a spin there. If you want to call it kind of a Coen Brothers-esque feel to it, you can, because there's just this prevailing quirkiness, this sense of humor, despite the bad that is happening. I guess much like Bad Santa. Looked good. There's nothing too, in terms of style, camera work, nothing too outrageous. Nothing fine with cinematography. I mean, it looked good. Had a good soundtrack. Technically, there's nothing too outlandish here. It all is pretty standard. But it is, I think, an important story, and the very fact that it's true, is kind of something. I think it's worth watching just on that fact alone if you like true stories. And this man, this actual man in Texas, he's serving a life sentence. He will never get out of prison, and all he ever did was lie. And how he did it, some of the things are, maybe could be better explained. I hate to spoil, and I don't really feel like I'm spoiling much, but at one point he fakes his own death. I would have liked to have known just maybe a little bit more of how he did that. You know, am I being fooled? You know, again, it does say this is a true story, and then it says, like, really. I mean, it's really true, I promise. You know, so, like, some of it could be an untruth, just, you know, to play the audience. I don't know. I enjoyed it. Really, I could have used more. Well, Ewan McGregor, he basically just plays the pouty, you know, house husband. You know, never really gets too into what Jim Carrey's life is like. You know, just accepts what Jim Carrey tells him to be true, and, you know, I don't know, he just seems to be a little too lazy for my taste. I thought that he should have been, you know, because he goes to prison for the, you know, for him. And Ewan McGregor is Phillip Morris. So, you know, Jim Carrey is doing everything for his love for Ewan McGregor. You know, I don't know what else to say about it. I enjoyed it. You know, I didn't mind watching it. I thought for Jim Carrey, I thought it was a good performance, a great performance, really, one of his better. He's got to be all over the place. He's got to be different characters. Easy for him to do. I mean, you can you know, see him bringing that Jim Carrey flavor to everything he does. He's, you know, just got little weird things to do. Of course, with his body, physicality, you know, all the time. So you're definitely seeing a Jim Carrey performance. And it's too bad that it's not getting more attention. You know, and I expect that it's not getting more attention because it is very polarizing. You know, it is, you know, about the homosexual lifestyle, and you know, some people are not going to be comfortable with that and not want to watch it. So, but I think it is very important. I think it's nice to further that movement, and I think it's a nice piece of art for them. I mean, we may not be talking about milk here, but we are talking about a love story between two men, and you don't see that every day. So, I don't know, if you like Jim Carrey, I'd definitely check it out. You know, if you're a Jim Carrey fan, this is going to show you aspects you probably haven't seen from him before. If you like prison movies, you can maybe tell by the front, they're in, you know, prison uniforms. A lot of this movie does take place in prison, so you get a lot of good prison movie, you know, action. They with avoiding cliches, really. And you like Ewan McGregor. Ewan McGregor is a great actor. He turns in another good performance here. I'd say he has even a harder time than Jim Carrey does because he, you know, gets shit on so much. Just a good movie, you know, a good watch, very interesting, you know, and especially if you're a fan of true stories, it's like, wow, you know, it's like, you know, it could only, that's the tagline, a story so incredible, it could only be true, and that's very appropriate. So that's I Love You, Phillip Morris. I enjoyed it. I'm giving it a 7. Thanks.